So basically this is what we're trying to achieve. We're making a mobile today, and what we want to do is we want to have create a framework for the mobile by joining two sticks together. We want to create the five 3D shapes that you're going to choose for yourself and make. You can decorate them if you want. Once you've got your stick base, you then need to attach each of the 3D shapes to the sticks. You want to make sure there's one in the middle and one on each of the ends, and you're going to have to vary where you place each of the 3D shapes, because that will impact upon the levelness of your stick frame. You really want the end product to be a nice horizontal plane. So you're going to have to play around with it. So that's your project for today. Okay, here I have my net. I've chosen just 3 nets, but you need to choose 5 nets. I've coloured this one really quickly, and I've coloured a cylinder, and I've left one plain. It's totally up to you how you want to do it, whether you want to colour them or not. Be really careful when you're colouring that you can still see the dotted lines so that you know where to fold, because all these lines are your fold lines, the dotted, and all the hard lines are the cut out lines. So I'm going to begin very carefully to cut this out. So now this is cut out. I was really careful to be very clean and tidy, particularly in these corner areas. That's really, really important. So really careful cutting out. Now I'm going to fold it, and it's really important that I fold it really hard on these dotted lines. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to look for the dotted line underneath, and then I'm going to press it down and really push hard so it's nice and flat. That is a join area, and it really needs to be nice and flat. So I'm going to work my way through here, again looking for the dotted line underneath and pressing it flat, because when I go to fold it up, it will naturally it'll fall into the shape quite naturally if I do it correctly. So make sure you really concentrate on folding it up really carefully. So making sure you crease really hard on each of these dotted lines so it's nice and firm. And you can see that when I do this, each time I do it, the shape takes hold. So you can see already, that's already looking a little bit like it. I keep doing everything, make sure that every crease is done, right to the very end. It should hold shape and look like a cube. So let's see that it does that. Okay, it is now all folded up. Every crease or every dotted line has now been creased really hard, and it's now taking shape as a cube naturally. So now what I'm going to do is just help myself a little bit by putting a bit of glue on each of these tabs here. Now, one of the problems is glue, it's not really instant sticking, it's a bit of a pain. I am also going to use sticky tape, but I'm going to get it underway with a little bit of glue on each of these little edges here. So I'm going to try and put glue on each of these edges. Now I've done all of them, and I'm going to just set it into shape, and then I will end up putting a little bit of sticky tape on it as well, just to hold it firm. The cylinder is super hard. You need to get somebody to help you, or you are probably very capable yourself of doing that as well. Give it a go. I know it can be tricky for some children, but I have seen many children do it very successfully. Now I've just stuck that with glue, and it's actually holding pretty well, which is great, but I am going to get my sticky tape, and I'm just going to get the tiniest bits of sticky tape. I don't want this to weigh too much. I'm just going to put a little stopper here and there just a little tiny bits and pieces of sticky tape. Not too much. Where am I going to go? That one's there. I'll do this one here. And my lucky last one. Just here, just a little bit here. Just to hold it a little bit together. I don't want it to be too heavy. So now you will have 5 shapes. I've got 3, and we're going to try and make a mobile using these and 2 sticks. Okay, so I've been doing a bit of pruning in my garden and I've got a variety of sticks, so I'm going to now choose which sticks I think will be best to do across so that we can dangle our shapes from them and get them in a mobile formation. I'm looking here and I'm thinking I'm going to take these 2, so I'm going to get rid of these and I'm going to try and cross these over. Now it might be good to have somebody help you. See how you go. Look, it's great if you can do it yourself. You take, so get a piece of string. My string's pretty long, but you can snip it. Don't go too short. You need to be able to work with it. I'm going to tie my sticks in the middle, and hopefully that will be a good starting spot. The idea with this activity is when you make the mobile, you want to be able to balance things, balance each of the shapes from the corner. So you're going to have a 3D shape on each of the corners, and you're going to have one in the middle, and you've got to balance it so that the mobile is perfectly straight, that's parallel with the ground. So I'm going to just tumble this around a few times just to give it a little bit of support there. Then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And I'm going to just turn this into a shape that's kind of natural. A bit tricky when I'm doing it on the table, trying to keep it as close to the table as possible. You're going to have a lot more room than me. And I think that that's pretty good. I'm going to tie that off. And you know what? I think I might keep this first bit as my center line for my first part of my mobile. So here's my stick. I'm going to hang it upside down this way here, and I'm going to have my first 3D shape hanging from this bit here. So when I cut it, I cut the string. I'm going to keep in mind that I'm going to attach one of my shapes. So I'm going to take my rectangular prism. Now this can be tricky. This is the best way that I think you can do it is to put it on a corner and get your sticky tape and attach it. Now sometimes it's better just to get the sticky tape just on this little bit here and almost just make it like a little, make it a little bit like a shoelace. I'm going to just do that just so it's got something to grab onto, because this can be a bit tricky and they can fall off. I'm going to put it onto the edge of the shape, and then I'm going to take that back down onto the box, trying not to squish it. And of course I don't want to use lots of sticky tape. And now I have my first part that is going to dangle from the mobile. So it's in the center. So when I turn it up this way and I bring it up, it's dangling from the center. I'm going to keep attaching the different shapes to the different corners. So I'm going to have one on each corner, and I'm going to have to adjust my strings until I get them all equally balanced and they look like a mobile hanging just perfectly balanced. So you're going to have a bit of a muck around with it. You're going to be changing the shape of your strings. Some strings will be long, some strings will be shorter. You're going to have to muck around with it. It is trial and error, and that is the project, is to try and take a photo showing us your mobile and have you got it level. How successful have you been? Good luck everyone. We can't wait to see the results.